Hey guys, welcome back to Kai Dragon Gardening and Cooking. Today we're going to talk about something very important that you can do for your garden that will help out in the long run, and this is called vermicomposting. So what it is you're using worms to break down food to produce very fertile soil that basically you can use as a liquid form or a solid form for your plants. It also helps with plant skin disease resistances. And the cool thing is it also has microbes in it that the worms use to break down soil. So it also fertilizes your other soil beds. So the thing about worm castings is what they call them is they're very expensive. You go to the store, you get a little bag like this for 20 bucks, or you get a big jar, what they call the tea, which is the liquid. It's basically worm pee if you really want to consider it that way, is probably about 50 bucks. It just depends on where you get it. It's so expensive that you can do this at home. And the nice thing is, if you do it right, the worms will continue to repopulate, so you'll get soil faster. And at one point, if you have too many of them, it'd be a great time then you can put them in your garden, so you can also increase the fertility of your soil. Worms are the most important element that you can have in your garden. They break down literally everything. So you have dried leaves, you have eggshells, you have lettuce, you have anything that isn't with protein. So if you're looking at meat, fish, eggs themselves, not the eggshells, you can use eggshells. Anything that's citrus, that's not recommended. Bread is not recommended. Stuff like that that's more difficult to break down can be toxic to the worms, but in this instance, we're going to show you kind of how to set one of these up. We got this on Amazon. This was top rated, and I'll put the link in the description below if you're interested in it. It comes with 5 stackable trays, and each one of these you can put soil in, but you're always going to start with the first one. So what we did is we went ahead and lashed the 2 washers and the spigot on. This is where all the worm pee, or what they call tea, worm tea, is going to go here. And this keeps the worms from falling into the chamber. So you're going to put that right here. Next thing you're going to do is take one of these, get cardboard. You're going to layer it right here. This is to keep the worms from escaping, for the most part, to get them comfortable in their new home. When you buy worms online, they are stressed out in transport, so they'll try to escape. So there's different ways you can do that. In our instance, we had a styrofoam container that we put ours in, so they're a couple weeks more calmer than what we originally had till we got this set up. But typically, you're going to want to use, this as your lid, because you want lights to still come through here to keep the worms calm, so they think it's light, so that they're burrowed down in the soil instead of trying to escape the chamber here. So that's one thing you're going to want to do. Once they're calmed down, you can slide this back in, lock it into place, so you have it anytime you have new worms that you need to move in. It's ready to go. And this is the lid that you're going to put on top. They do claim, and we're going to test this, that it is very odorless as long as you don't overfeed them, which means you have rotten food sitting there for weeks at a time. So you have to slowly put your food in there over time and not just dump it all in and keep dumping it every day. So that's one factor you got to consider. So we're going to go ahead and start with this. It requires shredded cardboard, shredded paper. This has soaked a while, so it is wet. Coconut core, which is lightly soaked. It's broken down, ready to go. This is great stuff. And we have sphagnum peat moss. So, what we're going to do, we'll take this, and we're going to layer it like a cake almost. We're going to throw a little bit here, and then we're going to spread the love.
There's also egg cartons, the paper ones, in there, and they have been soaked in water.
Which, if you're lucky to get egg cartons that are not styrofoam, that's a good thing.
They recommend any kind of garden soil, but I used to raise worms, and the sphagnum soil always seemed to work the best. And I always did use dechlorinated water, or water that's set out for at least a good 24 hours to get the chlorine out. You just want to make sure that you're not getting it too wet, and kind of mix it up. You can also use newspaper if you have newspapers, preferably the black and white ink only. The colored ink isn't as good to use because of all the different dyes.
Okay, so now that we've got our bed prepared here, we're going to go ahead and move the worms here. Now, as you can see, we've had these worms for a few weeks. They're not at the top as much. We got this one little straggler here. There you go, buddy. Have a new home. But most of them are under the soil. So what we're going to do is take this food
and put it in the corner. They claim to put it in a corner.
They claim to put it in a corner, but since we have so much food already established in here, they also suggest putting some, to keep the odor down, you want to bury it a little bit. And look at them go. And you see this one's going wild. He's like, oh my God, what's going on here? See these beautiful worms here? Now, the fun part. All those beautiful worms. So what they're doing right there, and you see all the black soil, this is what they call worm castings. This is basically worm poop, so to speak. This is microbes and normal soil that's utilized for breaking down. Basically anything you break down in the ground has this. That's why worms are so important. And as you can see, the worms have been trying to eat this. And they're slowly trying to break some of this down. And we don't want them to be too stressed, so I'm going to mess around a little bit here and kind of ease their anxiety just a little bit. So we're going to move this here just a little bit. Oh, look at those wormy goodness. Oh man, look at them, they're doing good. As you can see, look at that tomato. They have been breaking all this goodness down, and they are going to town. So as you can see, they are still thriving and doing very well. So I want to get these guys a little covered up best we can. Then this stuff here, just to keep them from being too unhappy, as I think this thing's a little too full at the moment, just between the vegetables, and I don't want to put too much pressure on these beautiful things. Oh man, look at all those hiding in there. Do our best to ease them carefully here. And we're just going to do a little bit of this. Kind of calm them down just a little bit. Probably should not do too much more of this, but I'm more worried about these at the moment. So I guess what we'll do is we'll unfold this like that, so they have something that it's wet. And then let's see what we got in here. As you can see, there's still a lot more stragglers in here. And since we've had these in here for several weeks, a lot of this is very, very fertile soil right now. About in 4 months of a proper process, you'll have several trays full of worm castings, which probably $100, $200 worth of worm castings compared to what you would get in the store. So this is a money saver, and you're recycling your waste. So we got this set up here. I'm trying to figure out better resolution for this side of it, because we don't want to crush them. And realistically, I shouldn't by doing this. So what we'll do, so for now, because we've got too much in there that they need to break down first, we're going to set up a second chamber. It should just fit down right in here, but as you can see, they're on top of the worms. I don't really like that. So what we're going to do differently, and we'll just monitor which way they travel, because I've got too many up here. What we're going to do is take this, that. And we're going to just take the rest of these castings here. And you got to be vigilant because they like to hide. You got some worms there. Got some worms there. Hey, little fellas. Should be all of them. So I just stuck my head in there just for purposes. We've had vegetables in here for about 2-3 weeks. Not a single smell in here. So, in theory, like they say, should not have any smell inside the house. So we're going to test that. If it starts, it is set up to go outside too. We just have to make sure it stays in some relatively nice shade. And my hope is that these worms here will decide to travel through here. If they don't, we can move some of the food from here to here, and we'll have 2 beds going until they choose one to get established in and choose dominance in for now. So we'll take this one, we're going to put it right here. So what'll happen now is the worms will either stay up here or go down below eventually, or the ones, as you can see down here, will choose to go up, because as it presses the bottom, they can either travel up or down. So we'll set it like this. If they get hungry, they'll definitely go up top here. And we do have the extra trays, but until we lower the amount of food that's in there, the only thing we're gonna do and this comes with it, is this is a coconut core mat, and just to help eliminate odors, as well as provide a source of water to drip down in there, which we don't need to do yet because there's plenty of water. We're just going to do this, gently keep it covered, and then we'll top it off. Since they've already made their whole move, we'll just top it off here. Once these shrink down a little bit, then we can add these other trays to it and get these ready. These are used for your legs if they're outdoors. You'd fill these with water, put them underneath there. This would keep ants from calling in, because you do not want ants in these. They come with a scoop, so you can scoop the castings up a lot easier and make sure you're not hurting the worms. Comes with a scraper, so you can scrape the sides when there's no worms here. And it comes with a nice little teacup, because once the bottom chamber fills up, you just pull the spigot, fill it up. You've got highly organic fertilizer that is very quality. So yeah, that's how we set it up. We'll let you know how it goes. We'll probably take some pictures and updates as these things develop, and once we get this a little bit more organized, we'll be able to show you how they're doing, how the castings look, and kind of keep you guys progressed on this. This will be a throughout the year project now. And the nice thing is, like I said, they'll breed, so there's going to be more. About every 30-60 days they reproduce once they're in the right conditions, which is not too hot, not too cold. They'll get more worms, and before long you'll be utilizing all of these. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Comment down below, and thanks for watching.